Hey guys, welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Leonard and today I want to show you this very lovely Zelos Mako version 3. So this is my latest acquisition and there's really a lot to talk about for this watch. But before we get into this, I first want to show you what's in the package because I know some of you are new to Zelos. So I already have everything here. I don't want to be fumbling through it like in some of my previous videos. So okay, the first thing that you'll see when you buy a Zelos watch is this Zelos outer cardboard box, okay? And inside, it contains this nice, very lovely cigar box design with a magnetic closure here, which will contain this leather watch roll. So this leather watch roll, I really like this color. I think that Zelos has run through probably around 3 or 4 different color schemes for this watch roll. And I think this is very nice. This is the nicest yet. And for the Mako 3, what we will have is an extra rubber strap. So this rubber strap is quite lovely as well. It's signed Zelos with the Zelos logo on the buckle. And it's a tropic rubber strap. For me, I don't really enjoy this strap, not because the material is no good. The material is very, very nice. It does not attract lint at all as well. But the holes are a bit too fast-spaced apart from each other for my liking. So I understand that's the design of a tropic rubber strap, so I can't really complain about this, but I won't really be using it much, alright? So what else you'll find in here is this metal warranty card. This is a signature of Zelos. I think they have been doing this from the start of their, So as you can see, this is serial number 062. And for this particular Mako, this is the Mako version 3 stainless steel in teal. I believe there are 200 made. Alright, so they will write on the watch case back how many. Oh yes, here it is. Alright, so they will write it here 062 upon 200. So you know there are 200 of this color variant made. So the more the different materials like meteorite and so on and so forth, they may come in different quantities. But for this watch, it has 200 made, okay, for this particular steel model. All right, so now let's get into the watch at hand. So this watch, when I saw the pictures online in the Zelos Timekeepers Facebook group, I wasn't really sure which color scheme to go for, sorry, because I've owned the Swordfish stainless steel version 2 in teal before, but I've not had this circular whirlpool like design on any watch in my entire life, and honestly I've not seen this on any other brands thus far. So this really captivated me, and when I saw, like I was mentioning, when I saw the different color variants online, it was very difficult to choose between them. And the reason being, it's very difficult to capture the beauty of such a dial in photos. When I first got my hands on this watch, I was so amazed that it looked the way it did in person. And I can tell you that I have absolutely no regrets because this watch is really a very beautiful piece. And okay, before I ramble and rant on and on about how good this watch looks, let me get the specs out of the way first. So this watch, it runs on a Miyota 9015 movement, and this 9015 movement is a high beat movement which ticks at 8 ticks per second. So I guess that's a pretty good upgrade from the usual micro brands budget watches that use the Seiko NH35 that ticks at about 6 ticks per second. And before you say it, I know a lot of you will say this, but I can tell the difference, and I really prefer the smoother sweep of the high beat movement. Okay, and for the case dimensions, this is a 40mm case width. The lugs are 20 meters across, and lug to lug, which is to me one of the most important measurements when it comes to how well a watch will wear. This is 46 millimeters. So from this end to this end is 46 millimeters. And the watch is also 11.5 millimeters thick, when it comes with a water resistance rating of 300 meters. Okay, So now that that is out of the way, let me get into, perhaps let's start with the movement first. This is the first time I've owned a Miyota movement watch. So, you know, a lot of people are saying that the Miyota movement is a very noisy movement. And honestly, that has not really been the case with this watch. I'm not sure whether it's because of the thickness of the case and the solid case back. But for example, I have another watch here. This is the SARG Seiko SARG 003, I believe. I can't remember the reference number already. This was my very first automatic watch. So this watch, it runs on the 6R15 movement, and it's a very noisy, it has a very noisy rotor at the back. So I'm not sure if you can hear. Let me try this. Okay, let me try it near the mic. So I'm not sure if you can hear that, but this movement, on the other hand, I really don't notice the sound at all. Perhaps because this has a see-through case back, this has a glass at the back of the watch instead of a metal case back. Okay, so the Miyota movement, I'm very impressed with it. I've had this watch for a couple of days, and it has been running at consistently plus 4 seconds a day. So that is really amazing in my book, for a budget movement in a very affordable piece. Okay, so the Mako V3, this watch, I must say, it is really refreshing because Zelos, you know, they started off making very chunky, very funky dive watches, and that is really cool and all. But recently, I've after my Tudor Black Bay, if you've seen my previous video, I have been looking for more wearable, more a smaller case watch to fit my 7-inch wrist. And when I say my 7-inch wrist, is not just, you know, universal for every single person out there. It's because I have a very skinny arm as well. So a 7-inch wrist with a skinny arm, paired together with a skinny arm, I really have to go to smaller watches for it not to look so preposterous, or for it to look a little bit more, you know, under the radar as compared to the bigger guys with bigger arms and bigger wrists. All right, so just for a comparison, this is my Zelos Hammerhead in forged carbon. I still have this watch, and as you can see, this watch is really more of a fun, interesting, you know, weekend watch, whereas this Mako V3, you can really wear it for almost any occasion. And though the color it really pops, it's really striking. I think it's really a watch which you can wear to the office and you can wear to events and function with no problems at all. Okay. So I wanted to say something about the color scheme because, as mentioned, I have, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but I have had the Swordfish version 2 Teal in the past, and I sold that watch away. One of the reasons was because I did not like the white chapter ring that went around the Swordfish version 2. But in this particular Teal variant, not only does it have this lovely whirlpool dial, the whirlpool, as you can see, it fades to black at the edges. So I'm really glad that I think some people have been giving this feedback to Elshan that he should make the colors fade to black at the sides so that it's more of a gradient. And I'm very glad that he took that feedback and made it a reality. So as you can see now, the chapter ring is black as well as the bezel insert. So that really created that very lovely fume effect. And yeah, getting back to this dial, I really don't know what to talk about it, but you can see for yourself, it really reflects light. I don't like to use the word play with the light anymore because many people have been making fun of me when I say that. I know it's very cliche, but it really does do that. It really does reflect the light in amazing ways. And it looks so different in different sorts of lighting. So right now I have my window open and I also have my room light on, so there's a bit of warmth to the light that comes in here. If I just have the daylight, it will be a little bit too washed out. So I wanted to really get almost the best lighting that possible that I could to show you how the dial looks like. And if you notice at the date wheel over here, the date wheel is color matched to the dial. So I have a short story, maybe not a story, just something I wanted to say. I'm really interested in the Aquaterra, the green, the new green version. But you know, when you look at that watch, right, it is a few $1,000 watch, and the date wheel, the background of the date wheel color is black instead of green. So if a micro brand like Zelos with limited budget, limited amounts or limited expertise in the watchmaking world as compared to a giant like Omega can color match their date wheels, I'm really not sure what is the excuse of these luxury brands not color matching them. I guess that's the aesthetic that they went for, but I'm sure if you do a consensus or do a poll in the forums, most people will say that if possible, they would prefer a color matched date wheel over here. All right. Okay, so moving on to the bracelet. This is something that, let me wipe this down. If you can see from the case finishing, the Mako V3 has really an amazing case finishing. This is all brushed on this side. This is brushed and polished. So you will notice here that it is brushed, but then it tapers down towards the crown. And where it tapers down, it has this polished edge on that area, as well as at the corner of the lugs. So this is really a very nice touch because you know, it really involves a lot more machine work and a lot more detail that goes into the manufacturing process. It creates a lot more work for Elshan and his team. But what I want to say is that the brushing is done very, very well. Just that the bracelet, I'm not sure if you can see on the video, whether the camera is picking this up, but the bracelet's brushing is a little bit coarser as compared to the lugs. So in real life, that is slightly more noticeable, and I would say that's an area of improvement to really match the finishing of the bracelet and the lugs. But you know, it's really quite minor when you have it on wrist, and if you don't really like, for now I'm doing a review of the watch, so I really scrutinize every aspect of it. But if you just buy it for your own consumption and you really just want to enjoy the watch, I don't think that it will bug you at all. Okay. So moving on to the claps. So this is something new for, I think, since the Thrasher came out for Zelos a few months back. So this is the updated claps that Zelos is using. They are no longer using the simple, you know, flip claps with micro adjust. Instead, they're using this, which is a quick adjust. So you pull this down. What you do is you pull this down, and then the this part, sorry, this area. This is the first time I'm using such a an adjustment in a watch, so please forgive me if I stumble. So you pull this down, and then you're able to pull it out or push it back in. Okay, pull it out or push it back in. Okay, so I think you can see there. So once you pull it out to the maximum area and you want to push it back in, you just have to do it. You don't have to really pull on that mechanism. All right. So okay, I think this is where I had it. That's all right. I'll adjust it after the video. So before I got hold of this, I was really excited to have a claps like this because I've not had one before, and I always seem to have the problem of not finding the right fit for my hand, my arm. But after I got it, I realized that to be very frank, it does not really make much of a difference to me because it's not that easy to manipulate, and it's a little bit rough. But I know that this is the first time Zelos is doing these claps, so I think there's a slight area for improvement to make it a little bit more smooth, but it works and it's very sturdy. So yeah, we have to give them props for that. And what I wanted to say was I realized that I would do fine with just the micro adjust holes, because I realized that the problem with finding the perfect fit is really finding the perfect hole and not really finicking with it throughout the day. So after I got it, I realized that is not really the source of my problems. The source of my problems is really finding the exact, circumference of the bracelet to give me a comfortable fit. But nevertheless, this is a very good improvement because that clasp also makes the watch wear and look a lot neater than having the fold over micro adjust clasps. So if let me just give you a wrist shot. Okay, so I have a 6.95 inch wrist, just a tad under 7 inches. And this is how the watch wears on my wrist. Okay, so as you can see, it is really sort of the perfect size. It is not too large, it is not too small. I don't know. I think after the Black Bay, you know, after I've had the Black Bay 58, these sizes, 40 millimeters at the most, is what my future watch purchases will go, unless I really have no choice, like the the Aquaterra 41 and whatnot. But this is really the perfect size for me and the perfect lug to lug distance as well. Okay, so I hope you guys, with a similar wrist as mine, as a similar wrist size, you can see how it wears, and it's definitely a very, very desirable size. So moving back to the watch itself, what else do we have? Okay, another note is that these clasps can be sometimes quite hard to push in. So when it's off my wrist, I don't want to sprain my fingers. I'll just push it in and let it clip shut. All right. Okay, so back to the watch itself. Zelos is known for having very good lume. So the indices, the bezel insert, and I think the chapter ring as well, they are all loomed. And just a bonus, the crown over here is also loomed. So that's really a lovely touch. So Zelos, this is a really true and true dive watch, and it can go to water resistance depths of 300 meters. So that is awesome. Okay, so coming to the bezel action. The bezel action of Zelos watches are always very, very good. This Mako V3 is no exception. Everything lines up perfectly. The bezel is a little bit stiff to turn, but I think that is something that you prefer as compared to a loose, jangly bezel. Okay, so as you can see, everything lines up really perfectly. So the crystal is also a sapphire crystal, and it is a slightly domed sapphire crystal. So I really enjoy this because I like this little bit of character on the crystal, but I do not enjoy a very high top hat, a very high curved sapphire glass on the dial. I think that really sometimes it detracts from the look of the watch, but this really complements it very nicely. Okay. So this Mako V3, what else is there to say about this watch? This watch, I think now is going for 400, just a bit above $400. And for that amount of money, 400 US dollars, you are getting the Miyota 9015 movement. You are getting 300 meters of water resistance. You are getting a very nice dial. It's a very unique dial. I know there's a word for it, but I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that word. And well, you are getting the Zelos quality and the Zelos customer satisfaction from purchasing one of these watches. It is this Zelos brand is really one very unique brand, and I want to say this not just because I'm also from Singapore, but because Elshan is known to have excellent customer service. So anytime you encounter a problem, and I have experienced it myself, I had some problem with this watch, this hammerhead before, and the previous watch, it had some issues, and Elshan just replaced the watch without any further question. So every brand, you hope that the product is an excellent product, but you also have to provision for instances where things go wrong. And I think with Zelos, you can be very assured that you do not have to worry about after sales service. They will definitely take care of you. Elshan will definitely take care of you. Okay, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and if you're thinking of purchasing this Mako V3, I think there are still some left on the website. Some variants are sold out. Zelos watches are immensely popular, and this often happens. But with 200 pieces being made, I think you have a good chance of snagging one up, perhaps in a different color than the one you initially wanted if it has already sold out. All right, so please head over to their website and check it out. And one last thing I want to say, I want to actually I want to close this video off, but I just realized that I want to talk about this Mako engraving at the back, because in the initial batch of the version 3s, this is the second time Elshan is releasing a batch of Mako version 3s in slightly different colorways. So in the initial batch, some users, some owners have complained that this Mako shark is very hard and very rough and sharp at the edges, and it scratches their skin and shaves off their hand hair and whatnot. So I had this concern, but when I received the watch, thankfully it's not sharp anymore. I'm not sure whether other people will find it sharp because it is raised slightly, quite significantly actually. But I've not really experienced any discomfort wearing this watch. Could be because I'm not a very hairy individual, but I must say this has never bugged me in the slightest. Okay, so that's all I want to say about that, and I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Please give this video a thumbs up. This will really help me a lot, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.